Hi, this is Mike, and you're watching Real Black, and today we are with some history makers. Harriet Glickman, who we'll get into in a second, and Marmar, who is the voice of Franklin in the new Peanuts movie.
Hey, gang, look, there's a new kid moving in.
I just hope this new kid has never heard of me. It's not often you get the opportunity to start over with a clean slate. This time, things will be different.
He did it!
This November,
I'm going to change who I am and become a winner. Wow.
find the courage
If there's one person you want by your side at a moment like this, it's your loyal dog.
Such an honor and privilege for me to be here. How old are you, Marmar?
I'm 12 years old, turning 13 this year.
12. So it's almost like you, in your conscious life, you've never lived a life without knowing a black president.
Yes, kinda.
Kinda. I've never known a life without a black Peanuts character.
Uh-huh.
So, can you speak to how you're responsible for this?
In 1968, I wrote a letter to Charles Schulz. It was just after the assassination of Dr. King, and from the 60s, there was so much that had happened. I cannot say it was one incident. It was sort of all of the things that accumulated in my adult life that I had recognized and felt needed to be changed. Anyway, I wrote him. I was home then with 3 kids, and I had left teaching when I had the children, and I wrote a long letter about how we felt about it, and how about the children loved the strip and so on, and I asked if he would put a black character into the script. And he wrote back and said that he really, I didn't expect to have an answer, but I was shocked when I did. And he was hesitant. He said, of course the idea is good, but I'm fearful that black parents would feel it was patronizing of them. And so, therefore, he wasn't planning to do it. And I wrote back and asked if it was okay with him to share his letter with some friends. And 2 friends, Ken Kelly, who had 2 children, and Monica Gunning, each wrote. And he took that into consideration and added it to my letter and wrote back and said, watch the strip on July 29th, you'll see the character. And it was thrilling. It really was. It was, I couldn't believe that it was actually happening.
Wow. And that July 68, that's the first appearance of Franklin. Now, I'm trying to, paint for us a picture of the time. MLK had been assassinated. Were you an activist at the time, or were you just like a typical ordinary housewife, or were you like the hippie chick, or what? What was your...
I've been asked about whether I was an activist, and it's really a hard question to answer. I grew up in a family with my parents who were Russian Jewish immigrants, and my sister and I were raised with a sense of what's just and what's unjust. And so we were aware from our very early years of the situation in the South and the struggle for civil rights that was taking place. And so by the time I came to this, it was all of my life, really, sort of came to this point that this is who I was as a result of it. And when I saw something unjust, I couldn't just jump out of the street and do something. You have to find what works for you. And my sister, for example, I hope we have the time for me to do this, in New York recognized that there were, at the auditions, open auditions, that black actors were not coming in. And mostly it was because the only parts that they could get were maids or janitors or gardeners. And that was the time. You didn't see a black anchor, you didn't see a black featured part for people of color. And she and a group of other actors organized something called non-traditional casting. which is now called the Alliance for Inclusion in the Arts, and it now includes a lot of work for the disabled. But they did some symposia, and they brought in, for example, James Earl Jones, who said what he would love to play is Big Daddy in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So they did a performance of it with him, and they brought in casting directors and agents to see this happening. So slowly that was another piece. And the reason I mention it is that she and I grew up in the same home, and we each found what it was that where we could make a difference.
So just being able to see yourself in media is so important.
For a black kid to see himself in a classroom situation with white kids, and on the reverse side, for white kids to say, hey, that's a regular classroom. There are black kids, there are white kids, there are people of color, and that's what a school should look like.
Now, Marmar, how cool is it that you got this gig? Like, are you new to this? I know you've done some Nickelodeon. Like, is this your first big?
This is my first movie actually, but I'm not new to this necessarily. But it's mind blowing and shocking at the same time to know that I'm part of the Peanuts, and yes.
Now, did you watch Charlie Brown and stuff as a kid?
Oh yes, I love Charlie Brown. I used to have a lot of stuff Charlie Brown.
Wow. So what's it like? I mean, you're the first person to see. Or have you seen the movie yet, or you just did the voice?
No, I've just seen the trailer so far.
Okay, but so what can we expect though? November 6th.
You can expect a nice, fun-loving, family-oriented movie. You can expect to see all the characters from the comic strips, and that's pretty much all I can say. I can't spill the beans yet.
No spoilers here. So do you realize just how important this woman is to history?
Yes, I do. I know that she paved the way for people of my skin color to feel important and equal in the Peanuts comic strip, because during that time it was black people around, but it was like black kids were playing with white kids, but the parents were really cautious about, I don't know about that. But now I've seen it like evolve a little, because I've only been on this earth for 12 years. But I've seen people just like let other different kids from different races just play, and I think that's gonna be big in this movie.
It really just speaks to the fact that one person can make a difference. And this is something, one person and then somebody in a position of power that listens, so, I mean, the battle's not over.
No, the battle is definitely not over. And, there's a Jewish expression called Dovador, which means from one generation to the next. And what I'm hoping comes out of this, these interviews and the stories and so on, to say, okay, my generation has done what we can and we're still trying. Now it's up to you guys. And you can make a difference, and it's the way you live your life that changes things.
Right on. That's one of those 60s sayings, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right, thanks so much.
You're very welcome, thank you.
Dream big November 6th.
My name is Harriet Glickman.
My name is Marmar.
And you're watching
Real Black.
We're getting good at this, huh?
Yeah.